Hello, beautiful friends. It's Erica. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the upcoming full moon in Libra happening on April 16th or 17th, depending on where you are in the world. And those energies are going to be mostly felt, 4 or 5 days before, leading up to, and then after the full moon. And remember, full moons are all about amplification and releasing. So I'm going to look at the themes accompanying this particular full moon in Libra to see what we can expect. And I'm going to share a vision I was given prior to turning the camera on. And it's kind of an interesting one. I am kind of curious to see how this is going to relate to the reading. But I was being shown almost like there was this big vat of liquid, almost like industrial size, believe it or not, almost like if you've ever been to a food manufacturing plant, where there's a big vat of something, and there was like a sifter going through it, and it was like a thick liquid, almost like it was a soup, and you were just like straining out the bigger chunks to make it a lot more smooth. And this arm was going around and around through this thing, and each time it would like go finer and finer till eventually what was left was a beautiful, very tasty, uniform, almost like a really thick soup, like a pureed soup that had so many individual components to it. If you're a chef, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you make the most amazing soup, but then you blend it, and then all of these flavors meld together, and you look at it and you're like, wow, it's just so simple and uniform, but there's so much complexity to the flavor because of all the individual pieces that went into it to make a beautiful, harmonious soup. So that may be connected to this full moon, or it could just be a very specific message coming through for you, and take how it resonates for you, however you wish. Excuse me. So we're going to look at the overall energies around this particular full moon in Libra happening on the 16th or 17th, again, depending on where you are geographically. What are the energies surrounding this full moon in Libra? We have the Temple Path, Cornucopia, wow, and the Angel of Balance. There's that Libra energy. The other thing I want to say about this full moon is that it precedes the new moon eclipse happening on April 30th. So do stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a video about the eclipses coming up. And interesting, the Angel of Love is at the bottom of the deck. We've got 4 eclipses in 2022. We've got 2 within 2 weeks of each other now, and then another time in the fall. So eclipses are also powerful events. So it's almost like this whole sequence of full moons, new moons, all are amplifying and accelerating to these upcoming 2 eclipses. In fact, the eclipse it's a new moon solar eclipse now, and at the end of April, and then middle of May is going to be the full moon lunar eclipse, which actually is going to be visible for basically North and South America. So that's going to be pretty exciting. If you've ever watched a lunar eclipse, they're super cool. Okay, so what I see here, it's almost like, so you have the Temple Path, Cornucopia, and the Angel of Balance. I feel like this is a full moon where it can be, I feel like this is going to be somewhat a disruptive full moon, but for the good. And the reason I say that is I'm just getting drawn very specifically to the 12 followed by the 11. So it's like the ascension, seeing things from higher consciousness, the growth that we have been experiencing is finally going to land the opportunity for harvest, for the cornucopia, for beginnings. But the ascension has to happen before the manifestation. And I feel like it may disrupt some things here, even though it is the full moon in Libra, because sometimes the disruption is needed to restore balance. You know, if things are off kilter and off track, especially when it comes to love, relationships, self-love, what we love to do, sometimes that disruption is actually, you know, if you think of a scale that's completely only got something too heavy on one side, the disruption could be grabbing that rock off the scale and moving it off, and then it's like, boing, it goes back to balance. It's like the disruption is sometimes a removal of something. So I'm going to break into here a little bit more detail what's going to be amplified around this full moon. In terms of what we're thinking, what we are feeling. And I have a deck that I took when I went camping. I don't think I returned it, and I miss it. And I don't think it's in here. It's got to be in another bag somewhere. Okay, it's like my Trip and Tarot. I love that deck so much. You guys haven't seen it for a while. It's because it's been on its own vacation. All right, I'm gonna pull from. All right, I'm gonna pull from this deck. And I gotta bust out my black light again, guys, because those were fun readings to do with my black light that I did a series of videos maybe a year ago. Those were super fun because it just added a whole nother dimension to the experience of being a reader. It was really, really cool. So let's actually look at what can be amplified with this full moon in Libra. What thoughts, what might be on our minds, you know, with this full moon energy? The Tree of Life. Wow. The Two of Swords. And the Hanged Man. Right off the bat, it's like, what's going to be on our minds is any sort of decision that we've been putting off. Any sort of decision that we've been somewhat reluctant to make. Choices. It can be a breaking of a stalemate. So both the Two of Swords and the Hanged Man can be about the energy where something is sort of stagnant, not moving forward until something gives. Something's got to give. And what I feel like here is it's almost like I can't keep staying stuck in my life forever. I need to see what I'm going to see. Everything is connected. This Tree of Life, it's like boom, 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 boom. Everything's firing up and everything in the universe is connected. And this is where it's almost like you might get I'm getting a message, you might get some massive epiphanies or some sudden realizations where it's almost like everything fires into place. I'm sure you've had those moments in your life where, you know, there's a little thing here, a little thing there, a little thing there, and there's sort of maybe a connection, maybe not, I don't really know. And then all of a sudden you get one epiphany and all of a sudden everything makes sense. Everything. But you weren't meant to see that until the right time. But once you see it, there's no going back. There's no going back. I'm going to add another layer here to this. In terms of the thoughts being amplified. And there is going to be an extended where I'm going to do a real deep dive into this particular full moon, how it's going to impact our outer world, you know, what's going on around us, what we might choose to do, how we might act on whatever comes through. Also compared to our inner world, what's going to happen on our insides, our emotional journey, our spiritual journey. So that's going to be in the extended, along with really look at the before and after of this full moon, how it's going to impact us in our worlds. But with this Tree of Life, everything is connected. And there's justice. There's that Libra card, right? Finally, there's balance. Finally, there's meaning. To me, this also can represent a big closing of karmic cycles, karmic lessons, karmic relationships, karmic lessons at work, you know, things that were in our life for a reason to teach us something. And then once we've learned the lesson, we can now close it out and move forward. So we definitely will be thinking a lot about, you know, the seasons. Everything has a season. Sometimes things are meant to be done. And what we have here is we have the King of Pentacles with the Two of Swords. And why do we have the Hanged Man? Eight of Wands. Yeah, this is the intensity. Building up, getting ready to fire off all these rockets of communication. I feel like it's sudden movement, things moving forward. I feel like what we have here is a feeling of whatever decisions we need to make, it's going to be something that can relate to, again, with this King of Pentacles, work, career, romance, relationships. But what this is it's freeing us up to have success. It's freeing us up to realize that, you know, having loyalty and responsibility for something doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stay there. You know, maybe you have an authority position in a job and you have a big responsibility. You've got a huge team that works for you and they count on you and you've been the leader, and all of a sudden you're just like, I need to move on. But you feel badly because you're leaving behind the people that you care about, but you have to choose what's right for you. That's what's on our minds. That's going to be amplified around this new moon. So, sorry, full moon. And it's like things are getting ready to fire off. These wands are out of the cannon here. Whatever device this is the steampunk tarot. I don't know what the heck this is, but it's like it's fired off all these rockets. They're not in there waiting to be fired off. They have fired off. That's why I was feeling that it could be a very disruptive to the current status quo, but really good for the equilibrium. Really good to restore balance. That is what I'm getting really strongly here. So what emotions could be amplified with this full moon? What emotions are going to be amplified? The World, see completions. That's massive completion of a cycle. That's the end of the major arcana. The Fool's Journey. Oh, and the Lovers. Whoa. Right? And the Moon. All right. I feel like this is emotionally, we may need to see how these lovers are kind of hidden, right? There's like, and then the moon is sort of hidden. Anything that's hidden, any decisions that you've made around relationships or love, it's like, I can't keep this hidden anymore. I can't keep these feelings hidden anymore. Intuitively, I know what I want to do for my happiness. And if it's not about love for you, lovers can represent self-love. It can represent doing something that you really love. But see how they're just holding each other and they're in the candlelight and they're just in the moment. They're in the present. It's kind of like we may just want, and because the Lover's rod does represent decisions as well, choices, and it's right under the Two of Swords and the King of Pentacles. So there is this feeling of, and breaking out of anything that is an illusion. See how this guy's keeping himself in a cage? He thinks he's locked in a cage. He thinks the devil's keeping him in the cage. He feels powerless, yet the cage door is open. He can get out if he wants. But his perception is he feels helpless and trapped within this cage. But it's open. So I feel like finally things are going to come out in the open. If anything's been hidden, it's like this, I'm getting this feeling of around this full moon, if there's been anything unsaid, unspoken, hiding behind the curtains, hidden feelings, hidden motives, hidden whatever. It's like, I don't want to live in hiding anymore. I have to reveal. I have to come out. I'm done with hiding my true feelings. I'm done with letting fear stop me. Let's get a card here on the World. The Three of Wands. The Lovers gets the Six of Swords. You see, moving on from something, moving towards something new. The Moon gets the Five of Cups. This is where, if you've been drowning your sorrows, this guy's sitting at a bar with his head down. She's serving him drinks. He's got the drinks spilled. It's like he's been living in regret. This is a full moon where you're like, I don't want to live with any regrets anymore. I don't want to be afraid of living the rest of my life sitting sobbing at a bar thinking, what if only I had. Because the Five of Cups is about crying over spilt milk and living in the past. There's still 2 cups available here. 2 cups representing love, partnership, happiness. But this is where it's like you've been focused on the past too much. And it's like, I don't want to live in the past anymore. I want to move on from this. I want to move towards somebody. I'm looking forward to a brighter future. The world has been waiting for me to make this decision, and now I'm finally going to do it. What will be amplified instinctively? Like, what instincts will be amplified? The Devil. Wow, I just shuffled that and that came out again. The instinct. Wow, the Devil, the King of Coins, and the Knight of Cups. See what I mean? The King of Pentacles, King of Coins, same card. Feeling stuck in a stalemate, not seeing something that you need to see. This guy doesn't even see that the cage is open. He's so stuck in the fact that he thinks he's in a cage. If he just opens his eyes, because the Two of Swords is blindfolded. It's like you're refusing to see. It's that ostrich energy. I'm going to continue to stick my head in the sand because I don't really want to see the truth. But here the truth is, dude, you're keeping yourself trapped in a cage. Your perception is that you're stuck and you can't get out and that you're a prisoner here. So the instinct is to take the opportunity to get out. The instinct is to realize you can be successful. You can have success in your life. This guy doesn't think he has any hope. He thinks, and look at the fire all around him. It's like his life is in flames right now. But with the instinct for the Knight of Cups, that's I want to go forward in love. I want to take some action. And I'm drawn to the fact that he's looking again to the left, which represents the past, which can represent what happened before, where he didn't take an opportunity before. Have you been looking over your shoulder at a missed opportunity? Is this why you have these regrets? It's, oh my gosh, I keep living in the past. Well, he's opening up his heart to something from the past here. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and open your heart to somebody from the past. It just means, I just feel like you want to move forward with a clean slate. Remember how that strainer was going through that big vat of soup where it's like clearing out the big chunks in order to make the smooth soup. And this guy's like, I can't eat the soup until I clear out the past chunks. The past things that when you bite, you take the soup and you're expecting a nice creamy soup, and then suddenly there's like this big piece of something and you're like, oh, well, that's not that pleasant. I feel like he's going back to clear out the chunks. I know that's a totally random vision, but I get it. I'm so sorry. My guides are really funny, and sometimes they give me very serious stuff in a very funny way, so as to lighten the mood, because sometimes this is necessary. But they're showing me this guy, he's like in the strainer. He's needing to be strained out of this whatever situation he's in. It's like he has a chance to get out. He's not stuck there. He doesn't belong in that soup. He belongs elsewhere. And the instinct is to run. The instinct is to make the decision and to be light. See how this is a ballerina who's on point, and she's light. She's not bogged down. She sees things from the higher perspective. She sees where she's been keeping herself trapped. Again, the repeating cards here, King of Coins, Two of Swords. Those have come out now both twice. Let's get another card on the King of Coins. Maybe we'll get a couple more repeating cards. Well, Page of Cups, interesting. Again, opening up. And the Knight of Cups gets the Queen of Wands. So what we have here, the instinct is to communicate. The instinct is to open up, to share the feelings, to feel a sense of relief of, hey, I'm going to share or say what I want to say. You know that John Mayer song, right? Called Say. You know, even as the eyes are closing, do it with a heart wide open. Like there's this, sorry if I'm botching the lyrics at the time. And then the Queen of Swords, interesting, cutting things out. No drama, clear cut, swift, easy, painless. Queen of Swords does not have a jagged sword. She has a crisp, sharp sword so as to minimize the pain. I know it's kind of graphic, but it is the way that energy operates. It's like making the choices, cutting things out with the least amount of pain possible. So we have here, this can be a card of apologies, heartfelt communication, and suddenly getting a burst of confidence to say what you need to say, no matter what happens. No matter what happens here. This knight's going to go say what he needs to say. He's going to get a dose of confidence. Even if it was he was intimidated to say it before, scared to say it before, didn't think he was ready to say it before, felt a little stupid getting ready to say what he was going to say before. It's like, no, I got to do it. I don't care if it's scary. I have to say this. I have to get this off my chest. I have to talk about it. And then who knows what's going to happen. So, wow. I feel like there's going to be a lot of honest, heartfelt communication over the next little while here. And this can even be communication, honest communication with yourself. You know, it's like having that real heart to heart with yourself of what do you really want to do? What's important to you? So I'm heading over to the extended. I'm going to look a lot more in depth into this energy, break this down a little more detail, especially do like a before and after, like what's your life before and then after this full moon, what's going to be the changes. But before you go, those of you not going, I'm going to leave you with a guidance message. Actually, they're calling me to this deck instead. What is the best guidance for this full moon in Libra? Life-changing epiphany or experience. The lapis lazuli, also a sword. A sword that's illuminated. It says it's time of big and blessed change for you, and God is supporting you each step of the way. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys. You know what this decision is, whatever it is for you in your life. And this is a time where you can release the resistance of finally, you know, whatever you've been resisting, it's going to become clear. So my friends, I hope this was helpful. I will see some of you over in the extended. If this video has supported you, give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It helps other people find this channel and my work. And it's an easy and free way to give back. If my videos have ever been of value to you, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, bye.